Have your headset, Mike?
Yeah, I can.
Alright. So what do you mean? Send the link, I can share it.
Yes,
My phone.
okay, YouTube on.
Send the link up.
Yes.
Rastafari. Ready to jam? Yes. Greetings, everybody. Good night. You don't know. It's Monday night. And this is Monday Night Live Discussion with Moun Séwyè. We will continue to bring the encouragement to our people. We continue to do what we have to do to help, to inspire, build each other confidence, empower each other, build each other confidence, look to each other as we make strides to get our country, Dominica, back on track where we need to be. Yeah, man. Flacco, what are you saying?
Yes, greetings to the viewers once again on the Monday Night Live, where we continue to dissect the issues and chart the way forward. But I think tonight is more about the way forward.
Yes.
And I think it's about what the viewers can expect
Yes.
in the coming months, you know.
Yes.
I think we are in a state of readiness.
For sure. We have to be. We have no choice.
To execute. I think over the time we have made alliances and we
Continue
have
to
refined,
make, yeah.
you know, we have refined the message. We continue to make alliances. We continue to build those alliances, and we continue to refine the message. You know,
make it clear.
One of inclusivity.
Yes, I.
You know, one where the people that have the most, you see that with the stakeholders,
Yes.
the real stakeholders
Yes.
have to engage themselves, have to put themselves
Yes.
in a participatory frame of mind.
Definitely.
And when I say participate, in the traditional sense, I don't know if I dive into it too quick. If
Go
I
ahead,
don't
Rasta.
want to. But in the traditional sense of things, we have always viewed our participation, or I would maybe better say that we have been led to believe that our only form of participation is the voting process.
Correct.
Is to vote
And just-
representatives.
and just relax.
And then to just
Just
relax
lay back,
and
yeah.
to no.
That's correct, brother.
Now we have to actually take charge and redefine what it is, you know?
Yeah, man.
Because if we look at our history, we come from a colonial past.
Yes, sir.
And in the past, what has been the norm is for those with the greater economic means to be the ones being able to shape the society through that very same participation that we're talking about. And not just through their participation through the electoral process, but their participation in civic life. Now, when we talk about civic life, we're talking about all aspects, you know, and that is part of the revival that I think people can expect in coming from Moun Séwyè, coming from us in the coming months, you know. Where have we come from and where are we going? You know, so the whole citizen has to participate basically not just in the voting or the electoral life, but in the cultural life and the economic life of the place that we call Dominica. Okay, when we read the Constitution tells you that whoever administrates or executes our affairs has to do so for the greater benefit of the majority of us. So that means that the means of production, the means of our livelihood has to be afforded to us. We have to have a equitable society where not only those who hold economic means are able to shape the society, right? If that is the frame of our society, if that is the framework of our society, then there is a greater need, that should be the impetus for us to even to even strive towards that greater inclusivity economically. Okay? Look at we have a situation here right now where the administrators of the state feel that they can violate the constitutional rights of the common man with impunity, with no consequence. And why is that? It is because these very same state executors of state are the ones that are keeping us from our economic means, who are limiting our economic means. They themselves tell us, if not passport, then what? But we have to reject that, because when we look around us, we see the abundance of resources that can be put at the disposal of us all, of the greater benefit of us all. The Arabians and them, they sell their oil, and they use the proceeds of that sale to take care of their population, to put capital at the disposal of their citizens, so that their citizens can have a chance to participate in the economic life of the country and help to grow the economy. Okay? So I will let that be just a small introduction, to the people of what they can expect going forward, because now the time for talking about the past and about is gone. Right now it's about solutions and about what we expect, what we need to do, and what everybody need to position themselves to be doing at this point in time. So I guess you can.
Yeah, good evening, family. Good night, everybody. I've been Flacco. The plan, the plan is always to shatter that vision, make that right. Because at the end of the day, we come on the scene, and one of our issues that we really came on this scene because we wasn't seeing what goes on in the so the sit on just complain. It makes no sense because that is what has been going on for the past donkey years, 20 years, 25 years, just complain, yo, look at plan, let's go forward and let's work with that. So yeah, and inclusiveness is something that is very important, because when you look at this society, you wonder who the government represents. So yeah, definitely going forward. How you say, Flacco?
Yeah, well,
Dr. Mahdi.
where it's at right now is, like I said, we need to inspire and empower the people around us. Let's iron sharpen iron. So we need to convince, because we need to believe in ourselves first of all, and we need to come out of that notion that it's only the politicians that are eligible and are qualified, have what it takes to be in government, to form government, and understand that we are capable. We know, we know what we need, and we know how to achieve it. We and from you growing up in your family, in your house, and you start to govern in your household. You know what I mean? As you become a parent, you govern in your household, you have your children and things. So that is already, that is practice in itself. That is the to govern the country is the base of it is from the family. Come up to the the community. You have team, you have school, you have these kind of things. It's not rocket science. So they make us think like you have to have science. You have to be a political scientist and you have to have all kind of strategy. No, Jerry, it's not about that. It's about simplicity. In the things around us. We have everything around us. We have us, and that's the most important and greatest resource is the human resource. So we have what it takes, and we need to just share the knowledge with each other, have discussion, have consultation, and understand what we have and what we need and how do we achieve it and this kind of thing like that. It's very simple. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's a simple thing. I mean, when you really look at it, I mean, sometimes we just tend to downplay ourselves, overestimate things. Like, keep going in that cycle of just discussing the problems, but not evaluate it right and I feel we should articulate on our vision and what we would like to see traffic going forward as a people, as a society, and stop just renew, going through the problems over and over and over, and solution to that. So yeah, I feel for me there's a lot of things to discuss in going forward because we have our economic issues, we have our political issues, we just have our society of structural issues and power balance within the society is something that cannot be stopped speaking about. And right now, the balance structure is something that definitely has to be looked at and how you're redistributing that form of balance in the society in an effective way that it can function and keep everybody basically in a line. And yet still allow for the development of us as a people, protect our culture, develop our society, allow for the future to come in and make a contribution, let the youth be able to better the society, drive certain things. And everybody can make a contribution on a level where we can go forward as a people in that sense. To me, I see where I really like to look at it. For the
Definitely. Because you say you hit something there, Pyro. You tried, and I think that I think can resonate with us. You know that we have to almost add value to what is already intrinsic to us. What is already like our strength, our inherent strength. So we have to build on this strength. Now, when when you look at, for example, the cultural product, you see that we abandon certain things in preference of others, you know. But what's to say that there is not a space for everything, which just make the whole spectacle, the whole thing, even greater. So I say all of that just to, just to bring contrast, just to make the point that, you know, with inclusivity, you have the chance for all ideas to contend, and like Maggie say, for iron
yeah,
to,
and
to sharpen iron, for ideas to be improved by critique and by, you know, other contributions. What you say?
an aspect of it is like we say we choose to be democratic. We are a democratic society. And like you say, in democracy, you want inclusion.
Of
You
course.
want people to be able to understand what they're about, what they're doing, what is their intention, what is their purpose. You want that. You check.
Because
So
it's not only the leaders put duty to advance democracy. Every citizen has a duty to assist in advancing their democracy.
Yes, because the society is for everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
all who live in this society should be able to contribute to the society. Okay? So when you make a society that based only on a leadership, that's not a society because what it reflected was the leadership. But if you have, and that is why democracy came about. You check, well, they say it started in Rome and all them places, but to me, I just look at what I consider to be modern democracy from the start of the French Revolution. So I just see it, you check, because now the French Revolution brought us equality, liberty, and fraternity. You check, and basically, if you look and you watch the countries with that carry the color, red, white, and blue on their flag. That is what they represent. So you see Cuba, all them different countries, red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
And what them things supposed to mean to a society is because of that feudal system. That people were the opinions of people was irrelevant.
Yeah.
What the king said, the king was absolute in what he was doing and what he was saying. Even
The
his own
divine right of kings.
right. So even his own nobles turned against him.
Yeah.
And that is how the constitution came about. Well,
Yeah.
that was on the British side of things. You check? But then it spread down to more and more, it coming down to the people because the lords and the nobles checking like the king can just do them what they want.
Yeah.
You check? So
It's about distribution of power
yes.
because
And
absolute power corrupts absolutely.
and the thing about it, what really is power? You check what giving a man power
Yeah.
The
is
people.
voila.
The
Yes.
people.
It's people in. So
Yep.
if people don't believe in you, my brother, you don't have no power in
That's
you.
it.
You check me?
Yeah, man.
The only power
Correct.
you have is when people believe in you
That is
Yeah.
right.
and people agree to follow you and
Ah.
sacrifice for you and them.
Your ability to manipulate people or to build an illusion that people can, commit to. But
Yes.
then but then here's the other side of the coin, which I think somebody was saying there, as I was, when I drive in, I listening to the radio. Somebody was saying that a lot of people get caught up with the charming side of the thing, but then you have the ugly side of it,
Yeah,
which
because
is the
now
side of the consequence. You check?
it's is human beings within themselves. We people, man in their nature is corrupted. You check? There is a unique discipline now to really put yourself to do certain things and achieve certain things. So when you find you have just like basically unchecked authority,
Yeah.
so man are checking it. Why? And then big in Flacco and I just allow Flacco to do what he wants, do what he wants. You check Flacco now feel to himself. Yeah, I have a level of authority and nobody can speak to you no more. You check? But if we as a society understand that all of us have a level of power, all of us have a level of influence, all of us have a level, and just like Maggie was saying, we are all leaders, whether in your household, whether in which start, you're a leader in your household.
That's right.
You check, you manage in your household, you're doing your thing. But when you come to the structure of the social structure where the dynamics of everybody coming together, things just get a little more complicated and a little. So you're building that structure, but at the end of the day, everybody need the opportunity to contribute,
That's
and,
right.
and it's through the contribution that the society can truly build.
And if,
Because
yeah,
it's
man.
all of us are living in this space.
Yep.
We check,
We are only
live,
foundation.
yeah, we living together. So
Yeah.
if we don't find a way to agree with one another, really, the only thing that eventually going to happen is war and destruction. And we see
So
it
so let me
in
ask you.
other parts
So
of the
let me
world.
ask you that. I'm going to give you a case in point. If say Dominica is one of those apartments, right? One of the housing apartments, and is almost like the situation we're describing there. The only person that has the power to make changes or to make improvements or to is the owners, the quote unquote the government. Now, if time goes on and nothing is being done to improve the conditions there, at what point does it become the responsibility of the people living there to abandon that hope that the government will fix it and to do it themselves?
That's a good question, and that is
Because
in essence where we
yeah,
are.
because we set up laws. We set up laws and we set them up with the intention of them being fair. Right? When we put people in positions to represent them, we hope that they will legislate a fair law, that they will act fairly. But when that is not the case, when we are faced with circumstances like what I just described, we have to at some point take up responsibility, which is what we talking about doing now, in a larger sense,
Yes.
and do what needs to be done.
And that's where the empowerment comes into play. That's where
Yeah.
we all in that complex, that apartment complex. You have 20 of
Dominica,
us.
called Dominica.
Yeah, 20 of us in that complex, and we have to decide, yo, we live in there. That's our place. We have to protect, we have to do things. We have to come together, sit down around the table and discuss, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what, we have in common and blah, blah, blah. And we have to take responsibility.
Yes, because as long as you keep hoping,
Yeah, man.
you have abandoned responsibility for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
You will sit there and say, well, that is somebody, but you are the one living in it,
Yep.
brother.
Yep.
Which I tell
Correct.
you, so the illusion that we have in our mind that the government build apartments and these people don't have title and thing. To me, having or not having the title is irrelevant, because a person having lived in a space for 40 something years or their lifetime, at the end of that, come on, my brother. Come on.
Yeah.
You are telling me that unless you give me a piece of paper, I cannot invest, I cannot paint, I cannot, my hands are tied, I just live in. No, I will not accept that.
Yep.
I will paint. You check me, I will make improvements.
Yeah, man,
you check
you
me,
are plumbing
and at the end of the time, if they're better for it, then my brother,
Yeah, as long as you mash up the place and you don't make it, you don't deteriorate the place, you don't.
So that I tell
Yeah,
you,
so
we tend to
whatever we do.
overcomplicate things that are, to me, straightforward.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Straightforward.
Definitely.
We cannot accept as a society, as a community, a person will live in a space for 30 something years. And to deprive.
Now I want to bring up something
we
now.
make the rules. We make the laws. Former commissioner said that our rights are not absolute. But I don't agree. I believe it is the law that must evolve with the times. It is our rights that are absolute.
Yes,
and if there is anything that challenges our rights, then that law must be abolished, it must be repealed, it must be amended. Or
It's written in the Constitution,
yes, of
Flaco.
course.
Any law that contrary to the Constitution,
Has to be.
it cannot stand in.
Yeah.
So,
That's why I say,
when you talk, and
anybody
you see
that's
like,
ready to fight for the
even like that.
of the labor rights, and not just for the mining, for the economic means of every single Dominican, no matter what their color is, that, yes, I'm ready for that fight.
now you see even like that, like for me, I just check like moving forward. The way we choosing a commissioner, my brother.
Yeah.
And I find in to myself, like, why should we not give this politician on
Yeah.
check control over they that choosing who doing what,
What?
and it's not even a thing about merit, you check.
No.
So the level of responsibility that the politician is supposed to have within himself and for the society is a thing that's supposed to be like because of the level of power that is granted to them. He's supposed to be an extraordinary individual as it is now, because right now, my brother, it's like them man setting up things for their interest. You check me? And not for the interest of the
Correct.
society.
Correct.
Meritocracy is a thing. How we can go without that? When you look at a man of valor, remember, and I think I always stamp this stuff. You check, because I see him for who he is. You check, and he's not.
You're not
A
capable.
person not capable.
You're not capable. You're not worthy, my brother.
A
No
commission,
disrespect.
and I always check him. There is things that need to change the manner in which we selecting people
Correct,
for
my
those
brother.
jobs.
There has to be
There is
criteria.
things that we need more involvement
Yes.
in the society, and we need better means of deciding things.
Yeah, man.
And you need more meritocracy. You check.
Yes.
I think to myself,
The police
like,
force.
yeah, it should have a bit more meritocracy.
Yeah, man, the police force cannot be
and
controlled
not just because you
by the politicians.
play loyalty to, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be able to stand up and tell the politician no. But because of how the system set up,
correct, brother.
you compromise and you
Yes.
cannot stand up and tell the politician no.
So you have to say advance, pepper them.
But you see, I think again, we have been taught that all of the things that have been left to us, the Constitution, all of these things that have been left to us, are colonial relics and so on. We have been turned away from those things there, and we have been made to believe that we have to reinvent the wheel. But I think that it is because we haven't paid close enough attention to the things that we have at our disposal that we feel stuck, and we feel, because, okay, in reference to what you were speaking about there, we have the Police Service Commission that's supposed to be dealing with these things. In the case of the public service, you have the Public Service Commission, which is supposed to be dealing with the appointment and the employment of state employees.
Yes, but let us take it even deeper than that, Flaco, because to me, when I say I look at it, I check it even like the caliber of people that join in the police force.
Yes, sir.
And when you look at it, most times you'll find the weakest, because if you look at even the selection of people, first of all, I think like policemen, you need to me, it should have an aptitude test for to become a police.
Rastafari.
I feel like because you have to have to me, I feel like to be a police, you need a certain level of or I can put it, control, and a certain level of psychological,
you have to have composure,
level of
composure, discipline,
balance,
yes.
You within yourself
Yes.
can control certain
Yeah,
aspects
man.
of who you are.
Yeah, man, you have to have that level of composure, that level of discipline, that level of be able to how to call it, conflict resolution, this kind of things there, you check it. You have to have them kind of skill and that ability to resolve conflict, and be able to, solve problem without being like like a hooligan and a rogue, like, sending stone back to in a crowd of people and this kind of thing that is unacceptable. Yeah, you cannot be you as a no dread. That is a right away, my brother.
Yeah, because the thing about it, and like I was just saying, it's a level of responsibility. I mean, being granted them that level of
somebody just call it interpersonal skill.
Yeah, I mean that's one aspect of it. And I mean, even the training of the police, you just go up there and you teach them, and it's more militarized kind of a thing, like it's a war we're going to fight, but we're supposed to learn to collaborate with one another and learn to conflict resolution and them kind of a things there, and how you go about really dealing with things, and the law. A policeman has to have a basic understanding of law and understand that people also have rights and he has rights, and you have to have that balance, because and Flaco and myself, we had a little talk with a lawyer. Well, I don't think anyway. But it brought up a little aspect to me that this whole thing about your laws, your rights, and a commissioner would even be able to see that your rights are not absolute and them kind of things. And you have to wonder, like, what he in himself understands and knows about what is your rights and what is his own rights and how it relates to us living in a society and being a society and being a country, being a nation and our liberty. That is why we are a republic. That is one of the reasons that we are a republic. That we have a constitution, we have our liberty, and we have to look at things. I always say that we have to look at things in a very critical manner. Always that critical sense of thinking and approach and integrated. Because I just feel like, boy, to come and just take a decision, you alone. To me, that, no. You need that integrated approach. Get the different voices, get the different stakeholders, like they just normally say, and then you just wonder who really are the stakeholders because you realizing you're living in a place and you never see nobody come through, you never see nobody come and collect no data, you never see nothing happen, but decisions have been taken that affect you. So, yeah, I feel the structure of the society needs total reform. And our political structure is one that definitely it needs reform. Things like how we select in commissioner. Presently, I don't have a suggestion, but for me, the president, all them things. Yeah, man. I don't believe that parliament should be selecting our president, which I always feel to myself that we're supposed to be able to have that understanding. As we are a very small society, we don't have 100,000 people in Dominica. You check, and I feel we should be able to understand the level of importance that these people carry. And them is things that should be, we should have a whole education on that for everybody and not just a political party screwing its opinions on a society to influence their decision, but this balance, factual education of how the system affects our life and how we as a people integrating within the system and how everything should be collaborating together, because anyhow to me I just feel like another way and not feel like we see not the other way is not working. And when you look at system where societies that has that level of development and has that level of forwardness, the societies that has taken those steps.
But you see, my theory on that whole thing there, like you were saying earlier, the commissioner and his comment. If you take it and you put it into context, we see other societies that have evolved to abolish laws like even the death penalty. Okay? Now, in our jurisdiction, we have seen the Bogri laws challenged at the High Court and found to be unconstitutional and basically put to the side. Okay? So, when I take the context of the commissioner's comment in regards of, let's say, my right to life, okay? If you're saying that my right to life is not absolute, then you're saying that there are conditions under which my right to life can be, my life can be taken away from me, right? By virtue of us having the death penalty on the books. So, it's again, like I was saying earlier, the law has the ability to evolve as how is that achieved in our society is through economic means. Because to have a law, right, amended or repealed or whatever, you have to have two things: a day in court and the economic means to fund that challenge. Okay? I hope all you with me. You know. I hope you with
Yeah,
me. You know.
yeah, we with you, brother. That's
So we need to foster a society going forward where people look forward to having their day in court. Okay? Now currently because we don't have the mechanisms, you know, by law, where the state will take up the cost of a constitutional challenge. The only way that we have at our disposal is for us to pay for those challenges, is for us to, by our economic. So that's why I said all that to say we have to fight for each other to have more money in our pockets, my brother. You understand?
well for me.
You see that cry of late payment here and late payment there and that is the same people we hoping to find the courage to stand up and fight for their rights. We have to face not just our political situation, we have to face our economic situation. Because when we ignore the economic situation, we ignore all of the families that hurt him. Okay, I hear they have a men's symposium and so on. I hope that our economic situation is at the heart of the discussion at that men's symposium and the consequences.
When that going to be and where?
I think that is at UE
When?
on Valley Road, and I think that is it's
So you don't win then?
of course,
Yeah, so
of course, you know, and it's a free event. So,
yeah, we're gonna make it 10.
but these are the things that we have to address when we ask people to come out and to provide their support, whether it's to be there in person or whether to sponsor, whether to donate. We have to be concerned about where they're donating from. So that is one of the battles that I think, you know, and I keep talking about it. Trade unionism. A lot of our workers are being exploited. You know. So going forward, these are some of the things that, you know, well, from my you know, I want to keep on the front burner, because when we look at the past, what's that? Freedom of movement.
Yeah, you're right.
What he was saying
Fundamental
about it.
rights. And Rachel was saying is the freedom of movement, not one of our fundamental freedoms in the Constitution.
Well, exactly. So, in a case like that, where you have so many people being brought up or being affected, then it is, if we want our society to evolve, if we want those things to change, then the only course that we have currently is to get access through the High Court to instruct the police that what they are doing is unconstitutional and they should cease and desist. We have seen the High Court work in the favor of the people in the gay people in the Bogri thing. We've seen the High Court work for Danny Lugie recently. So we need to embolden our citizens to understand that when their wages are denied, when their appointments are denied, when they are denied of economic opportunity, they are being separated from access to their fundamental rights, my brother. I don't hear nobody saying, yeah, but that is the reality that we're living in. Okay? When you tell me that a police commissioner have to decide between acting within his own capacity or whether he will have a job tomorrow. And that is the situation that we facing, all of us. If I speak up today, if I act in my right, in my defense today, if I act for what is right today, will I have a job tomorrow?
No, I'm glad you bring that up, because now this is in a sense what we have been faced with. That's what and that's what I've been saying. This afternoon we have, I've been having a whole discussion, in different groups about these kind of things, and was trying to figure out like what will it take, for the people and them to. And I was saying that these are some of the fears of the people why they are, reluctant that the job they have, that security, that victimization and stuff like that. And so what needs to be, what we need to do as a people is to turn to each other and give each other that confidence and belief in each other that, yay, we need to fix that. That is not right. That actually is a crime to me, that you have to be, scared for, you cannot speak freely because you may, lose your job or lose your. You know what I mean?
It doesn't just stop there, Maggie. Because we talk about that all the time, people being afraid to speak because they might lose their job. But when you form, and we have to understand that if a man have a little shop on the side there and he abusing his employees, one thing. But when you have a government organization violating the labor laws, because there are laws on the books, and that is what I don't understand. Why are we so overzealous to enforce certain laws and we turn a blind eye not wanting to enforce others? The labor laws stipulate that it is prohibited to deny a worker of their pay beyond 30 days. That means that every 30 days, an employee is guaranteed to have his wages. Yet we hear in those cries, they're persistently in the workforce. Anytime a person works beyond 30 days, it is forced labor. You're compelling that person to work without reward. And these things are enforceable by,
It's the same problem again. It's the reform we need. Our society.
Yes.
Like the police are the ones responsible for enforcing laws, right? And who in the police go and enforce the labor laws? Okay? The labor department now would have to come on the police to act on their behalf. And it's the whole chain of command, the whole is.
No, but do we criminalize that?
Yes, but what I'm saying, we have a lot of issues in that of the whole chain of command, the whole structure of how the society running, and if people even understand that these things, which like somebody even have a right to stand up and fight for their wage.
Yeah.
Do we even understand that and appreciate that okay, yes, I might not be able to pay or refund your pay or whatever it may be. But do I understand that it's your right to speak out and ask for your money and that is your right. You're speaking within your right, you're acting within your right. Whether I like it or whether I do not like it, it's your right. You check me.
Yeah.
And one of the things I realize is that we have major issues in that. That people may feel to themselves that you should not be able to speak. You shouldn't act against them, or you shouldn't. Oh, is the person right? You check. And I believe that is something that we have to come to terms with, that people have rights and we have to
Respect
people's
people's rights. Yeah, man.
whether we may like it, whether we may not like it. And that is why I keep saying authority has a serious level of responsibility.
Of course.
Oh,
That
yes.
is what
Oh,
I
yes.
like.
They go hand in hand.
That is what I like. Authority
Doesn't-
assumes responsibility.
Yeah, for you to be an authority and not understand that level of responsibility that is granted unto you, or bestowed unto you, is something that, yeah,
It's almost sacred.
it-
Yeah.
it's a really, well, my mic don't work anymore.
Yeah, man.
You see, I want to hit on that there more, you check, because it's not just, we criminalize, okay, drug abuse, all those things there. We send the police to enforce those things there, to run down the. I see those acts there as also criminal, because by virtue of there being a penalty under law for those violations.
Nobody's above the
There's a
law.
penalty under law,
And nobody's above the law, not even the police.
$500 or 6 months in jail for withholding a man wages after 30 days. Tell me how many people know that? So, to me, in the 70s, we had almost like an alliance between the trade unionists and the politicians, okay? Because we see what happened in the 70s with the fall of Patrick John and Charles Savre, and So we have seen these mechanisms and how they work to change or to shape society, or to make a radical shift in society. It's not something that we want, that radical shift, because if over time our political predecessors were doing right by the people in advancing and evolving the society, then maybe now there would be no need for that radical shift. But right now, we are at the precipice.
It is necessary.
And we have to make the change. We have to make a radical shift away from the mindset that we have, and understand that the first reason that we came together as a community was for security. We came together looking to be safe with each other. So how is it that we end up not trusting each other and at war with each other? Who is the one that planted that seed? And I can bet
Divide
you
and rule.
he's a politician.
Divide and rule, not one.
Because
It's not
none
one.
of us, I don't want any man, woman, or child in Dominica to be ignorant of what they need to know to defend themselves, and by virtue of that, defend Dominica.
Correct.
But it is the politician that will tell you all what you need to know, but keep you just ignorant enough to make you a tool.
Yes.
So that is my
And Pyro saying it,
apprehension
the
with
benefits
politics
of that.
and politicians.
Who benefits from it?
We are at a stage right now where we cannot afford no political games.
And that is
To
where
me, any political party or whatever we want to frame it as, anything within that political context has to be a platform, not the mic, not the person standing up. Politics can be the soapbox. It have to be under our foot. It have to provide the platform for the common man to express those things I'm talking about there. How you want me to go and talk about electoral reform, boy, and my family can't eat at home? You check me? I don't even I can have a job tomorrow. The job I have is abuse. Because sometimes 2-3 months I work in, I can't get paid. You check me? Sometimes I work in there 14 years. Huh? And get an immediate dismissal with no how you call it? No notice. You check me? After 14 years. Just for speaking up and asking for my money. That is the conditions that we face in Dominica. That now a man have to take all his mortgages, all his loans, and fend for himself. That is the kind of victimization that we came together as a community to protect ourselves against. And we allow these people to come in our mix and turn us against each other. Not seeing that they are the ones benefiting when they deprive us from what is ours. But no more. We understand the game that's being played. And it's time for us to make our moves. They've been making their moves, you know, Maggie.
Yeah, but you said it.
But no.
You said it.
We're going to make some moves now.
You said it correct. You check it. You said it correct there. You check it.
Yes,
and Alvin Thomas is saying, you know, in terms of, and I've been saying that for a while now, that the attorneys and them need to come forward to assist the citizens, especially those that want to take leadership position. They want to be pal rep and stuff like that. My partner and them.
Yeah.
You check it. You have to come to the citizens' aid. You check it because there are cases that you know, you can see that that's a winnable case.
Yeah.
Of abuse of our citizens' rights and you know, like that man laid that big slap there, my brother. Somebody supposed to take that man and say, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, man, for that case, yeah. Just like all them man, them lead, or them burial homeless be sitting in the hospital waiting for bodies. You check it. Man have to be looking at them cases, the workers and them, my brother. For Wednesday after Wednesday after Wednesday, they blocking those people, taking away people's rights or freedom of movement, my brother, fundamental human rights.
Yeah. Not only that, but political discrimination because you're allowing certain people to pass through the barricade and you deny others.
Exactly.
When I ask you by what criteria are you carrying that out?
Yeah.
Whether it's because of my race, my political thing, my religion, what is it? You
that person can pass. Why?
But it's only the High Court that can adjudicate these things and give the police directives. If the president, who the police is directly under her purview, cannot instruct the police or cannot, you know, the people with the authority to dictate or to direct the police, to give them advice, are reluctant to do so, then the only course left to the common citizen is to the High Court.
Well, Flacco. And again, like, yeah, we're back in the problems, but is having responsible leadership. And that is where the education of the society has to come into play. That people need to understand how the leadership affecting their lives and yes, we may need reform. Yes, we will need to do certain things. But that is the meritocracy, that is the vibes that, yes, we need to strike a better balance in our society. And things just... Because at the end of the day, the president's supposed to have the understanding that every citizen has a certain amount of liberty. Even she as a citizen, that is how she have a position. The Prime Minister, everybody. You check. And those things supposed to be fundamental for the society. So again, our understanding. And when I read the review of the Constitution, it addressed that, because what it says is that the manner in which the society is structured, that an individual would have to be it basically saying that an individual would have to be like crazy and out of his mind to go up against the system, Jack? So you need to take that out. You don't have to be crazy and out of your mind for you to go up against the system. You need to encourage people challenging the system, that the system can evolve and grow as we as a society growing. And this is, we have to understand that that is part of being a society. You check? That people have their liberty, people have their things, and yes, we have to respect that. I feel like, yeah, and it's so much, it's a lot to do. And waiting on the lawyers, I don't waiting on the lawyers no more. I think, yeah, too much. Well, yeah. But, yeah, we have reached out to a few of the lawyers quite a bit on all different aspects of moving forward. I mean, when I myself, I put down a program to explain the Constitution, reach out to a lawyer to come, let us do a podcast, and everything was organized. The lawyer disappeared in the last moment, So, and so much other stories of them kind of things, my brother, and I feel to myself like right now, I'm at the point where anything we have to do, we just do it.
Yeah, man.
You check? I ain't looking for no lawyer no more. It's just like, yeah, go in the court and I represent myself.
For sure.
You check? I even reach out because when I see how them lawyers representing, man, my brother, it's like,
And imagine you have
reach
to
a
do all the
point
same
where.
case and I lose my case and you win your case and I have a lawyer then. And I have to pay $1,000 then it be nothing. Best I take it for my lawyer. Serious loss. It happened to me again. Next anytime my case arrives I fight with my lawyer.
Yeah, well, that is the thing, like we're at a point where we really need to push certain things, and if we don't do it and we keep waiting, like something's just not going to happen. And I think we're seeing it. You check? So in this seeing it, we just have to do it. It's the same way we came out and speak is because we were seeing that lack, and we came out and speak. And I feel like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah man, I don't fair
well, man, I believe in democracy. One thing I go tell anybody, yeah, you see, me, I believe in democracy, my brother. You see, inclusion, participation, them things there, I believe in that. And one of the things that really cemented that for me was spending 6 years in Cuba. I see what it is for you not to have rights, my brother. I live, and I live without rights for 6 years. You check? And I was one of them man and them not. If you ask the fellas about me at Cuba, a lot of stories to go wrong. But yeah, because
I will just say something there, Pyro, while you're on that. Because, you always giving that side of your story, you check me? And then there's other people that may stay within the safe boundaries. We know you are a rebel, Pyro.
the
We know
vast
you don't
majority,
that will go outside of the boundaries and go and really get into the
let
people,
me tell you
know
that.
how the people live.
Let me tell you that.
But these are people that will stay within the boundaries, and these are the people that will come back and reinforce the idea that living without rights is almost acceptable. You check me?
No. You see what you're saying there?
Yeah.
The vast majority of fellas just walk a straight line in Cuba.
Yeah.
You check? And exactly what happening in Cuba is what happening here now. You check? Anytime you challenge the system, everything for you ending, you're going to lose your job, you're going to them people that's going to turn on you and make sure that, like, basically, yeah, they'll destroy you economically, they'll destroy you socially, they'll just, and why DA reach to that. That is how Dominica functions. You check? And when we was in Cuba, it came no point a man used to tell man, but if I was running a revolution within a revolution, man. Real thing. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I do some things.
Which one of them mics not working?
Cuba. And I tell people, scare it and the Venezuelan president, Hugo Chavez, they were very close. You check? Chavez is a man that learned a lot of what he learned from Fidel or Chavez mentoring. Chavez turned around and mentor Skerrit, you know. You check? We just tend to not look at things that right in front of us, you know. But them things right that there. You check? And I tell man, from time I see how Dominica operating, I just join the dots. But democracy is a thing. Yeah, I believe in that. And I feel for any country to really develop, it needs to have democracy. And until we do not implement democracy here, I don't think we'll develop the way we're looking to develop as a nation, where we can deal with our issues, look at unemployment and youth unemployment and drugs and different things, you know, migration issue, brain drain, you know, and the different things, you check. Right here in Dominica, we have enough resources, my brother, for all of us to live comfortable. You check. Dominica has enough resources that every Dominican and every visitor in Dominica can live comfortable, my brother. You check. And we should be happy. Yeah. Let me tell you that at a university, in my time, one of the things I just look at is that we go to university and we learn to manage from 100,000 people and up. They're not teaching you like 50,000 and them thing, you know. Because of the scale of these big industrialized nations, my brother. When you come in a country, take for instance, when I study Cuba, you go Cuba population is about 10 million plus, right? You go, the city where it was, there was a million add. So how are you going to manage, how are you going to teach somebody to design a system of under 1 million people, under 100,000 people, when them neighborhoods, them communities is like 100,000 and more. And you must teach somebody from the basic come up. So now coming to Dominica now and living in our society, where most of us is in those type of industrialized nations that we learn in. So yeah, you learn from a basics of being able to manage 100,000 people and come up. Dominica doesn't even have 100,000 people. So it should be a cakewalk. You check. So, plus you still have other countries where you can look at that has done it. Look at places like Singapore, where came from abject poverty to one of the richest nations in the world, and yet still Singapore smaller than Dominica. You check. And again, when I look at them countries, a place like Singapore, it's always the people always speak about their vision for their country and how they want to see their country develop, how they want to push their country forward. You check the inclusion, the education, the whole structure of the society. You check me the responsibility of the politicians and them and how people accept one another. That I have to be able to accept that you have your rights, my brother, and respect that. Whether I like whether I like Flacco, whether I don't like Flacco, irrelevant, in the whole structure of things, At the end of the day, my brother, your rights is your rights. If you have the authority, you just have to respect a man of his authority. And yeah, we have a government that nitpicking about who they like, who they don't like, who supporting them, who don't supporting them. And nah, man, we need a better system than that for sure.
Let's keep talking about these solutions. We don't want to get we don't. You wanted to say something before, Maggie? You sure? Yeah, we don't want to get back backtrack and like we want to keep it going forward. So this afternoon, I was speaking with this gentleman, and we was talking about, how everything is, and it was around lunchtime, and we were watching all of the children coming out of school and thing, and it was just a stark contrast to look at the elder generation or the older generation going about, some of them maybe pre-retirement, some of them, some of the young. But you see in the youth so full of potential, right now, even if I will say our education lagging behind because of all the technological advancement, the AI and so on, I think we need to reform our education. That's one of the things that we've been discussing, and we've been having, ideas, having plans on how we can, But that is, I don't want to just, go down that side road. But basically, if you look at the trends and the way everything is advancing, we almost have to I completely lose my train of thought there. But basically, if I stick with the education, yeah, there are advancements being made, and we not, keeping up. We discounting our children. Yeah, so the potential that's in our youth to solve problems, to solve our problems, with the education that they having right now. And I look at the contrast, I look at the people right now, in the positions, basically cement themselves and throw their hands up, like as if, there's no, so it is. It's like there's no. And I think about it and I say, like, we cannot condemn those young, vibrant, full of potential youth that coming up there now, my brother, to that as their future.
And that's
You check?
That's why I'll have no conversation to you as well. And what you go in there, what you saying there, the same thing I was saying is like, I was telling the guy that that's why I'm blessed to be in the coaching profession,
Yeah.
team building and preparing team to compete. And so it's just no difference, you know what I mean? Because we are a team, one team, Team Dominica, all of us. And so we have to find a way, for us to achieve our goals. We have to score goals. So we have to have a common factor, common denominator, you know what I mean? And we have to stick to it, and we have to be able to agree, and agree to disagree. The man checking like how all that independent candidate is going to come to a conclusion and a decision. And you said it in your comment that we need more discussion and more.
Oh yes, definitely.
Instead of that,
We need more of that.
That eyes have it and is 16 or 18 man on one team, and when they say the eyes have it, everybody say the eyes have it. Because
Yeah, nonsense,
so it's
nonsense,
what the team
nonsense.
say and not what the individual.
Yeah.
Whereas you, with the power report, you have been a candidate for Rosewood North for Ma, one thing so and we talking because you want to represent your constituency and need this and priority and we discussing which one we think we should do first and which one should take
Priority, yeah.
and stuff like that. And it
Yeah.
shouldn't be because my side have more people with the eyes of it and really and truly what you bring to the table have more priority.
Because you see, even within you, Maggie, there is a thought process.
Of course.
So we have to understand,
Right.
we have to have a justification for what our politicians doing, what they deciding to do.
Definitely.
How are your priorities set up? I mean, after all that time you're talking about reviving Lubia water, you know, that should be one of the priorities to make sure that it didn't go down in the first place.
Correct.
You check I saying?
Correct.
Because those are the things that
Yeah.
keep generating revenue.
Job security.
You know, and exactly.
Yeah.
Maggie,
Job security
you
is
see
important.
you see water stop come out Lubia there
Yeah.
since after
That's how the icon and get
the thing break down, water stop come out up there.
the icon and get what I
But
want.
brother, that is what I talking about. So all when the money flowing, that is where the investment should have been made.
First
You check I saying?
Yeah.
So we have to understand the thought process that going into the decision making. What data, what information is driving our politicians and their decision making? Okay? Another thing we have to, and that is part of the thing, education. And it's a lot of right now. It's like you see, it's like when you have to cram for an exam, you know. That happening there right now, you know, because we have so many issues and so much irrelevant conversation around those issues that we never get to the heart of the thing. You check, I telling you, you know, like when you have a boil and you keep squeezing it every time you're taking out the thing, but you never take out the sack inside of it. We need to get to the core of the issue so that it does not keep reoccurring.
Can't just put bandage on the bobo.
No.
We have to.
So we have to get to the, you know, so when you look at, for example, you know, the whole, and I'm going to come back to it again. We have been essentially never been sensitized about those things. We've always been kept in the dark about that. Remember, we come from that agrarian kind of society where it was bananas and thing, and where we were always talking about that. Man that couldn't maybe read or write too well, but them man was boss, them man was making, you know. So we have never been awakened to that duty that we have, that responsibility we have, not just to make money, because look at how easy it was to take away our economic means.
Yeah, so it's managing it.
You know?
You have to learn how to manage it, not just make it. You can make it, making it is one thing.
No. But understanding our condition, understanding what it is that creates the condition. Because even when we was making all that money in banana, we was telling our children, don't come and work hard on the banana like that with us. And a day like today, was it him, St. Lucia, still exporting bananas? While we have basically, we mirror America, trying to become a consumer economy, importing everything and producing nothing, my brother. So we exist only as the beneficiaries of the efforts of other people, the other nations that put in the work to make sure that the currency have value. And we here sitting down having our politicians with no insight into their thought process, no insight into their decision-making process, but to sit down and tell us, if not passport, then what? Yet passport is not within the means of the greatest majority of us. How many of us can sell a passport, brother? You check. The Constitution tells you that the economic means, the source of production has to be distributed for the betterment of all of us, brother. You know? So, we cramming for exams right now, brother. Go ahead, let's go.
Yeah.
I believe that we shouldn't be selling our citizenship. We as a people,
Paro now citizenship, man. Yeah.
to be common from
There's the creativity.
he want to make a contribution to the society. So he come and go to business and he want to do certain things. Yeah, if the government feels to itself, or the state in itself feels to itself that person has a considerable contribution to the society.
Yeah, man.
That I own.
Yes, I. That is it, brother.
To be out there,
Peddling that. Yeah.
of citizenship as a means of progressing
Man.
economic outlook of our society. That would make sense.
No, boy.
And then it grants the authority a certain level of exclusion from the role.
Yeah, man. I agree that totally. You know, like we said before, we have enough resources around us. We need to start to utilize what we have around us, and we cannot we can't put all our eggs in one basket. And with that basket there, to me, that basket there is a wrong basket, Ras. That shouldn't be, you know, that shouldn't be that our means that what we like. If it do sell, if sale drop, if sale yeah, we stick. You know what I mean? And we have so many things, you know, at our disposal. So many things we have there, my brother. You know? So we need to you know, take the opportunity. We know what we need. We know what we need. We know what we have, we know what we need. Let us do it. Yeah, I mean, and let us do watch like let us do believe like as if well it's not we don't know and we ignorant, you know. We know, my brother. We know what it is, and it's not that complicated.
Yeah, man.
You check it?
I think it even our participation, not just. I step in a level higher there now because I think our participation imperative, not just as a community that's Dominica, you know, but as a region as well, you know. We have right now a situation where we have to proverbially step up to the plate. Okay? We have our sister island exporting X amount of maybe tons of banana, you check me? So we have a lot of other countries that have a head start already. You know? We have to start somewhere. We pride ourselves on being resilient. But are we able to feed ourselves? Are we sustainable? Are we secure in our food? You know, what about our food security? Right now, the world having all this chaos in the world right now. Where are the discussions around our food security? What investments are we going to make in agriculture? And remember, it's almost like we want to come back on stream, big and bold, but we have to be cautious in how we do that, because remember, there's a lot of industrialization of farming practices and so on going on out there. So we have a lot of competition and a lot of pressure from the outside. So I think our first aim should be trying to be sustainable within our own self. It's like you're running a home, Maggie. Yes. If you know is X amount you making, you know you can't go in the supermarket and import. You check, I telling you, you can't buy from outside. You have to look in your backyard and see what space you have in your backyard to plant a dashing, plant a fig. So your money now can go toward other investments that will maybe save time. Maybe as time advances, you can put an irrigation there, put a timer there, so you don't have to spend so much time, you know. You can hire help and so on. But it's a slow advance, you know, and we have to make those steps with full intention of committing to it and to teach our children that, yo, look, that is the path, you know, and start to revive that, because we still have a lot of rural communities where the farming can take root again, can basically come back and thrive. But we have to put the framework and the mechanisms in place for those things to be a success. Now is the time. We have the plans. We have the plans. We've been drawing them out, Pyro. We've been talking about them. So execution time. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, man. And yeah, like you were saying, Flacco, we need to be self-sustaining, sustain ourselves first of all. And like you were saying a while ago, in terms of the water thing the man talk about there, that long time that should be back in place earlier clock. And also we had that bellow. We should also have more of that sort of factory in different parts of the country. On the east side, so have one like that. On the north, so have one. So on the south, you know what I mean? So the farmers can, you know, bring their produce, make paper sauce, make this, make that.
Yeah, because
you know what I mean?
I feel even with the agriculture, you need like land reform laws. Because when you look at how foreigners coming in and acquire large parcels of land, and I go buy some this thing, like foreigners owning 100 hectares, and them 100 acres just sit down there, got nothing them on them. I think like, see, I go buy man earlier, man telling me, yeah man, I own 98 acres here. Foreigners, white man, you check? Large parcels of land. Yeah, I don't know. What is the purpose of all them things, you check? Like, we cannot compete with them people there. So any man that come in with their big money,
Yeah.
how you cannot compete with them people?
Yeah.
Correct.
You check? Them man coming in at a major advantage. So that is thing I feel that we have to look at and going forward, like address it, check.
Yeah, man.
Just this thing about having foreign buying of property.
That's why the consultations have to come in place. It's just to have consultation among ourselves to prepare each other for this kind of, you know, this kind of business. You know, like the cannabis, the cannabis thing there that coming into play there right now. How much of us are prepared, you know, for, you know, to be able to take advantage of that? Because I do really, you know, but I was in a discussion recently there, my partner from Wesley there, Drex and some guys was discussing it, and we were sounding like you have to have a whole lumps of money up front for you to even be involved, be part of that, you know, that cannabis, the marijuana cannabis industry, vibes they bringing into
Okay,
here.
okay.
You know what I mean? And yesterday I was in this, it was in a function in the stadium, and I met one of, what's his name, Doctor, the one from up Pishley side there, up, Pitch Savan and Blazer. But Doctor, what's his name? He was a minister, minister no more.
Dr. Daru.
Daru. And he was telling me, yeah, better late than never, and the thing coming into stream and whatnot and whatnot. And yeah, by checking like, yeah, but how in that, it takes so long for it to come on stream. What have we done to put our people, our citizens in position, to take advantage of the situation?
Yeah, because the same thing I coming too. Like, it's like these people, they don't working for Dominicans, which like they're working for themselves and wherever paying them, so they have their interests. And I keep saying, like, that whole marijuana industry, I mean, when you look at communities that are considered to be marginalized, those are the communities that were seriously affected by that war on drugs and that war against marijuana. So why now that marijuana is coming to be legalized? That these are the communities, these are the people that should
Correct.
be given the priority to
Correct.
benefit from
Yeah, man.
that whole marijuana thing. Allow them to get something out of all the war and all the fight they've been
Yeah.
facing for many years.
Definitely.
Yes,
Reparations, you call that.
yeah, you still have people in jail.
Yeah.
Some of them communities don't even recover from them things. You check,
Trust me.
and
And I know man like Kasati and Shillingford have been on the forefront,
yeah,
pushing the vibes, He tell me and Daru tell me see bourgeois at the meeting, that a
yeah,
meeting
which
about it.
was that. See a
So,
picture of Buju.
so we will get more information on that. But these are the we need to empower people, empower us. You need to be about us because that is what happening out there. We're seeing things happening out there. I'm checking like there's the Brexit and the this and the and Trump doing this and that. What are we doing to ensure that Dominica for Dominicans that Dominica get a big stake in Dominica? Dominicans get a big stake in Dominica. Check it, because we need to put our position ourselves and our people for us to be able get the rig them income so we can you know, invest in each other and in the place.
So,
You see, I'm not an economist, but when I look at how things, how things might better work. Maybe at some time we could get an economist, somebody that have an economic background, to maybe yeah, we'll not let's not go down that road, you check, but we need to understand how because we know right now that the government is one of, if not the largest employer in Dominica, right? Now, if we were to build industries, now, how would that shift? What would that shift look like? How would we? Because we 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 don't want for
What's that?
for that to be the situation. We want to have a robust private sector. We want to have, thriving industries and so on. But how do we see that transition? Do we see it like with that same model where the entire country descending on Roseau every day, long lines of traffic? Or do we see it where we decentralize government and set up basically one or two municipalities? So let's say one on the East Coast and one in, let's say, we can turn Portsmouth into, or maybe in the south. You check South City. So that way, government services would be decentralized. You would be able to travel, let's say, about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes top to access any
What is that?
government service, you know. So I was just floating the idea of us, you know, because to me that would help in the job creation, in the area of job creation, and it will also help to urbanize some of these areas, you know, and to bring some economic activity in those places. You check I telling you?
I saw us going in that direction back in the 90s, brother. With Marigot, Cassie Bruce, South City Granby. South City Granby not just South City for just Barry saying that, that's actually South City, you know.
It's about
Everything and
economics.
stores and things and everything
True,
there.
true.
You check it?
It's about economics because I do
Yeah,
see
you're right.
why
I mean,
everybody have to leave the north of the island to come Roseau to change their check.
yeah, no, that is what
You check?
that's.
Or
That,
I in the east and I cannot get an ATM.
Yeah.
You check I telling you?
Yeah.
Madness, brother. And we inviting tourists to do what? To do what? To do what? To roam in the bush alone, brother. We advising people
remember
not
they
to
talk
travel
about the
with cash and thing, and you have a
municipality
plastic card, you can use it. No, I mean, come on, man.
developing that
We have to
municipality
develop.
system.
We going to develop. I have to work on. I have to work on my.
You check.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
No, I say the whole municipality system.
Yeah,
You check. It's all about them things, decentralizing government,
yeah, man.
having local government with more power. Yeah, them is things that necessary, and so you can have other, like you say, Portsmouth, Marigot, Granby,
Yeah,
you check on the East Coast. You have other communities that can grow, Cassie Bruce,
yeah,
all them
man.
lap playing, all them different areas there daily. So, so that's why,
Because I mean, you have public works taking care of the main roads and so on, but local government should have the power to improve within the community itself to better the roads, to think to develop projects that will improve the infrastructure of the village.
yeah,
Well, at that time it will not be a village; it would be coming into being a town. So we have to think big. We thinking big now, and we know what we want, and we aiming for it, brother.
yeah,
You
true.
check me?
And that is what you have to do. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I always say this to put it down, know what we want, and just achieve it. You check. If we don't know what we want, we cannot achieve it. You
yeah,
check. So we must create the vision of
yeah.
going forward. You check.
We tend to think about what ifs, but I believe when you see people see action. Anywhere people see action, people see opportunity. So sometimes we thinking like, boy, what we going to do the thing of when we get to that bridge, we will, sometimes it does work out because when people see the action presents itself as an opportunity for somebody that maybe have been sitting waiting
True, true,
to see that.
true, true.
So we're talking about we need a boat to move our thing, and we need bigger boats and thing. But where they produce? Where
But you see,
is it?
Flacco,
You check me. So if we
again,
make a move, and other people seeing that we serious,
yeah, because
yeah.
I was telling you, again,
Right now it's not
is
if it is when
creating
we
that
start.
environment, that enabling environment that
Correct.
other people can do what they want to do.
That is that
Let
that
everybody do what
is
they want to
that
do.
and that
You
is
check,
all.
because everybody living,
That is all.
everybody need opportunity.
That's right.
You check. When you want to try and control the environment that you want to control, who eating and who don't eat it,
That is it, brother.
that is the level of madness.
That is it, brother.
We need to create that enabling
Environment,
environment that
Rastafari.
each and everybody can live comfortable.
Yeah, man.
You check.
Everybody have the section, all your corner. And
Whether you like a man, whether you don't like a man, that doesn't matter, my
yo, man.
brother. What the man want to do, once the man can create for himself,
Self,
or whether
yeah.
he
And
creating for
others.
others, you even
Father.
supposed to encourage him, man. Whether you like him and don't like him, man, and the man can reach that level, you're supposed to even encourage him, man. That
That's all we
you
want.
understand.
That's all we
Nothing
want.
about
Not no, I don't
the
mind it.
man. Any man don't have your opinion or the
Yeah.
shit. Nah,
Man checking,
you
but
check.
Miss have a good idea. That's a good idea, no, but because it's market that behind it. we shutting it down because
Yeah,
we don't
that's
want Maggie to look
madness.
deadly. If it work out, when it work out, it's Maggie that gonna look deadly. But it's
That's
not even about
madness,
Maggie
man.
Dread. It's Maggie put
It
nothing
cannot
forward for the
develop
youth
like
and
that.
put a program in place for the youth and them to get opportunity to excel, my brother. And you're telling me just because it's Maggie, we're shutting that down. And the youths and them that stand to benefit, Basil for them.
Yeah.
And that has been happening over and over and over, and that has to stop, Ras. And we going to stop it now. It stops now. Check it. So, and I was telling the brethren earlier, is that, you know, that campaign thing right now is not even about all that big hoopla. It's about what we need is to speak with each other, have consultations,
Yeah, man. Yeah,
sit
man.
down with each other,
Yeah, man.
and have discussion, Rasta.
Yeah, man.
Town hall meetings. Yeah, we're ready. You know what I mean? Go in the constituency and in different
Yeah,
sections.
you have to speak to people, let people
And just-
contribute, and
Yes,
let people
schedule
know
and
what they
everybody
want to
sit
do.
down and pass
Everybody.
the
Yeah,
mic
man.
around and don't be afraid.
Definitely.
Don't care who you be, how small, what age, what
True,
nothing.
true.
Bring up your idea and don't feel like you have a question. It's not a good question. If you don't understand, say it. That's how you're going to get wise up. You know what I mean? We're going to share knowledge. We check it. So we don't need no big finance thing to have no big lily and banga. It's just, let's just meet with one another. Let's engage each other.
Rastafari.
Yeah, man. Let's just engage each other. That's how we're going to move forward.
One of them things I think we need to look at as well. Again, I'm not an economist. That is something that we might have to get another perspective on. But I believe if people retire at 65, you check me. If people collecting their pension at 65, they should be retiring at 65, my brother. You check. To me, I see that loophole there of contractual obligation by senior people in these institutions as manipulative and coercive. If a person want to retire early, that's fine. But if a person have to depend on a contract for 5 years, between 60 to 65, to me at that age, that leaving a person vulnerable, and I think that's not fair. You check? You already have a situation where a lot of these people in the senior positions, in acting positions, when they should be appointed, they should be appointed, they should be getting their appraisals, they should be getting the incremental increase in their wages, because that is how things are done. That is how you grow your income tax base. They say that a rising tide lifts all ships. So if you treat the people fairly in the public service, which is the largest employer on island, then you as the government will only be helping yourself, because that is a larger group of tax contributors that you're going to have to depend on. But when you abuse them and keep them, deny them from what is due to them, you only shooting yourself in the foot as a government. And when you as a public server, as a public union representative, public service union representative, as Thomas later, helping to shoot the government in their foot by allowing the people's wages to stagnate for so long, while inflation continues to eat away at our spending power. The ministers have increased their salaries a couple times already because they're feeling the bite of inflation. So what about the common man? You increase the wages of the police, the people that secure in your power. You understand? And I don't want to, again, go back to identifying the problem, you know. But sometimes you have to refer to the problem to have a reference as to where we coming out and where we going now, my brother. You check, I telling you, a person retire, the pensionable age is 65. Let people retire at 65, my boy. Simple as that. So, to me, I feel, while some people may feel that we have an aging population, you know, I feel we have a youthful population. While yes, a lot of our young people they migrating and so on and so on. But if we create the environment for them to stay there and for them to come back and for them to, then they can benefit from the wealth of knowledge and experience and wisdom that the elder people here have to contribute. Because they have listen, we just give our elder people and them a lot of flack. We just give them a lot of blows, and some of it is warranted because some of them, yeah, Jah help us with some of them. You check, but with age there is wisdom, my brother, and you have to appreciate and respect the lessons that they have to teach us, the knowledge that they have to hand on to us. Not just through their successes, but even through their failures right now. If we can create a safe space for the people to let down there and say, yeah, like, we can learn from the mistakes of the past and we can make better decisions now. We're going to make better decisions now because I believe all of the things that have been hidden from us is...
Let's interact with it, Last time I was asking,
How do you plan to engage?
in
How do you
discussions?
plan to engage?
How do you plan to engage the youth in the discussion so their voices can be heard? Well, that's a good question. So
Yeah,
what
straightforward.
any of all
Like
you
everything else, my brother. We deal with
Yeah.
the situation straightforward.
Yeah,
Just
man.
approach people and deal with people. Yeah, I mean, it's, we don't like to say we don't know. Well, yeah, straightforward. I mean, set up the meetings, deal with
Yeah,
people. That's like what Maggie saying is people have to go in the block and sit down with man and man.
yeah, man.
Go in the school and sit down with man and man. Children, the youth. Is that you check?
Yeah, we're going
Is
to engage in the consultation.
yeah, right in the community yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to people.
That's right.
It's direct. It is.
That is it.
Come on.
Yeah, so it's like I said, it's town hall meetings, it's consultation, and the youth is them. Yeah, you're all welcome, and like I said, don't have no fear to voice your opinion, give your suggestion, ask your question. Don't feel shy, to feel like boy, don't man to laugh you. Speak your mind, say how you feel, say what like you like, because the future, it is you. You are the ones that are coming. They are the ones coming behind, and they are the ones we are doing what we're doing for right now. You know what I mean? We on our way out, and they're coming behind. So definitely, it's for them. So they have to be engaged.
But I'm going to tell you, I believe it have ambassadors among the youth, and we have to identify them. I already have one that I have identified. Well, not just one, but a few. I will only name one tonight. My favorite artist, Sly Moise, best choice. Okay, so the youth have their devices, they have their booyah music, they have their well, it's ours, but they are the driving force behind it. So I think the youth themselves, you can see them already shaping their message. They're already using the different platforms to voice their opinions. Albeit they may be sarcastic in their expressions. Sometimes they may make light of a thing, they may joke about it, But we must not misinterpret that as just mere gesture or mere. I believe the youth are definitely interested in what's going on. They are definitely aware about what's going on. And the laughter is I think is only because of their lack of ability to articulate what they might be perceiving. Because you see, like we always say, in a lot of the youth, the only government that they know is what that's there right now. When we're talking about the youth, I would assume that you're talking about people under the age of, So I believe that the youth are aware, they are informed, and we need to keep informing them. We need to keep educating them. the things that you see, what does tend to happen is that as adults, we end up in sometimes in compromising positions or in certain situations, and we hide certain things away in shame. You know, we hide certain experiences that we may have had away in shame. Certain things that we may have attempted and failed, and we you know, or we become fearful, and we become fearful for our youth, and we hide sometimes experiences that we should share with them so that they can learn. We, you know, and I think that I would I would advise, or I would implore the adult, the older population, those in the middle age and so on, to look at the youth as, you know, not just somebody child, but as your child. Mentor those that open to the mentorship. You can mentor them, you can talk to them, you can. Sometimes you may not even need to say much to them, but give them a listening ear. You know. So we every day we interact with the young men in our community. We listen to them in that same manner. We engage them, and what we intend to do is to continue to expand that, and hopefully, like I say, find a few ambassadors that can go out there and continue to touch each and every one, you know, until we get to that place, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, man, and I was like earlier, I had that a conversation similar as well, because they said, "But where the youths on them? Where the youths on them?" And I said, like, and one partner saying, "Well, you know, all they interested in is CO," and I said, like, "Nice, you have to understand, you know, what we need to do. Okay, the music." Right now, like back in the days, Chubby, if you listen to Chubby music, the message is in the music, and Chubby was letting you know, put your cocoa and making you
But
know,
here we are the thing where we still got the hiking vibe.
them thing there,
And we are
engaged, correct. So we have a lot. There's a lot of means and ways you have to that you have to go down that road where they like not what you want, but what they like. You have to look at what they like, and then you put them, you bring it to them in that format, you know. So you know, go out and hike and explore Dominica. We did that before. We have, you know, we have to continue that movement, and also the music. And I mean, like I said, the message is in music. You know, Chubby and them used to do it. You know, do it to a certain extent with CK. We need them new age booyah musician and them artists to make some positive, you know, music to really pass the bring out the message. You know, and keep the history of Dominica alive. Yeah, man, a good job. Yeah, yeah. We need more, you know, to bring that message out so you can resonate with them. They can, you know, catch it. But definitely, the youths are the future. The youths is now, and we definitely we must engage them, and we will continue to do so in many different forms that will be, you know, suitable for, you know, that will suit them, you know, that will entice, you know, their where they are, you know.
So, Maggie, I have a question for you. Because you know that the whole idea of independent candidacy was a brainchild of, you know, of the guys, of Moun Séwyè, Pyro, and, you know, Pyro to be more specific. But our idea of, or perspective of what is the independent movement may not necessarily be what the other folks may have perceived, may have, you know, understood. And I using that as a, you know, to lay the foundation for my question. Do you believe that the people who have currently presented themselves or in the House as independent representation for the people, what's your take on that? Do you, you know, because independence is a word there, Maggie. You see, independence. You know?
Yeah. Break it down.
To me, that means that dependent on no other. You check me? So on I, you know? So that means that you have to have some principle, you know, or some ideology that you stand on, you know, that you commit to, you know? Yeah, you're not easily swayed. But is that a reflection of the what we see in the parliament today?
Yeah, well, to be honest, you know, as you can see, we haven't got no leader of opposition, and that is to just that just says it all, you know. So, basically, this is a simple answer is no. You know what I mean? And so and that's why we're saying that we have to be. It's time for the people, you know, to. You see the people and them. See when somebody come to decide, Maggie say, I want to represent Mao. I want to represent you. I want to represent you. You know, you have to now sit down with Maggie and question Maggie. What is your, ideology? What is your vision? What are you going to represent us? What is it? You have to have that conversation. Not just go and represent us and we feel Maggie go do what the right thing. No, question Maggie. Find out exactly. Ask all kind of questions. How you see yourself, going to represent us? What are you going to do? And explain yourself. And if you mammutain and you begin and you cannot explain yourself, then you're ready yet, Ras. So we need to know exactly. And when you say this is what you're going to do, once we put you, we give you the opportunity, we monitor you. And if you're not doing what you say you're going to do, then time for you to come out there. You're not doing what you say. You told us one thing, and we're not seeing that. So we time up. So we look for somebody else. It's time for the people to not only be presented with candidates, but they themselves select candidates and scrutinize these candidates and ask the critical questions. Make sure they're comfortable with the candidate. Don't just check like, boy, yeah man, Mr. That fella that go have degree and this and that and yeah man. No boy.
You see, because I asked that question, Maggie, because I feel that the idea of independent candidacy has not been well represented by the people in the parliament. That is my honest, and I think it casts a bad light on on independent candidacy overall. Because one of the fears that the people that I've had the people bring up, is that, the independent candidates will not be able to work together. You're going to have too much arguments back and forth and so. The current model of the eyes have it is not sustainable. We need more arguments around the issues confronted. Let's use a better word. Not arguments. We need better analysis, more discussion, broader perspectives, deeper insight, into the thought processes that go on to justify the decisions that our politicians are making on our behalf, my brother.
Yes.
You understand?
That's how we're going to.
And the only way that we are going to get that is when we choose people. We choose people, not people being chosen for us. The people's allegiance, the people that we choose to represent us, their allegiance has to first be to us. Every party has a constitution, and every political agent has allegiance to the constitution of that political party. The independent candidate should have only allegiance to their people, the community that elect them to be their parliamentary representative. Do you understand?
That is all.
Now, when we need argumentative people to go up and debate on our behalf. To debate, to justify why the state should make our concerns a priority, why they should make our interests a priority. A person that is argumentative to the point to make the state see the value that we intend to create out of their investment in us, on behalf of the people. Okay? Which one? That one? You don't hear me? So, we need more discussion and more ideas to contend openly. I even say like we should maybe have a house below the parliament, maybe a senate, where before issues get to parliament, they are debated thoroughly. Because you have a whole set of senators. What do the senators do? What do the senators do? The senators should be the ones digging up research. Because the senators hope to one day be in parliament. I would suppose. Right? So then they should be the ones, the understudies of the parliamentarians, doing the work, getting the merit behind the argument, getting to understand the data behind the decision making. Right? Now, when we as a society can witness those things happening, because we sit down and we look at the US Senate debating bills, debating things, you shall I saying?